We are coming to you from the city beautiful Chicago, Illinois, where tonight WGN Sports on the U presents White Sox baseball. It's Jose Abreu, Alzace Ramirez, Adam Eaton and the Sox as they get set to butt heads with Miguel Cabrera, Torrey Hunter, Victor Martinez, and the Detroit Tigers. Hi, everybody, and welcome. We're Steve Stone. I'm Ken Harrelson as we get set to bring you Game 2 of this four-game set. As you know, we won the opener 6-5 in a very exciting ball game. The game yesterday was rained out. So tonight, going out there on the bump for us is Johnny Danks.
Johnny Danks is under 500 this year, and he got off to a really tough start. He was having some problems very early in the game. But the last 3 times out, he has turned things around. There you see him against Alfonso Soriano. He looked equally as good the next time out. And the third time out against the Dodgers, he threw the ball well. And as you can see, a 1.21 ERA over his last 3 starts. Opponents hitting just 167. He's still 4-5, but throwing the ball much better. And he's one of the guys that this team certainly needs in the middle of that rotation.
Well, that big 6'5 right-hander, Verlander for them.
Justin Verlander has really struggled this year, and surprisingly so in certain areas. His ERA is up over 4. He's just a game over 500. And he's been getting tormented by right-hand hitters. You see 317 batting average against. Last year against the right-handers, it was in the low 220s. So for some reason, it could be that they're hitting the curveball very well. Verlander has struggled, and we'll see today. He's not going to throw 89 or 90 in the first inning. He's been throwing 94, 95, maybe up to 96. He's a different guy these days, and the 2 guys you got to worry about are the 2 you mentioned in the opening. They both homered in the opener of this series. Cabrera and Martinez, you hold them down, you hold down the Tigers.
All right, sit back, relax, and strap it down. White Sox baseball coming your way.
Only 4 games separate the first place Detroit Tigers and the last place Minnesota Twins. Earlier tonight, Robin Ventura was asked about the tight race in the Central Division.
I think everybody's pretty close. I think, competition-wise, last year we weren't very good within our division, and this year we're able to compete a lot better and win some games. And I think for us it started with Cleveland and being able to win some games there. So it's just part of baseball. I think everybody's closing the gap and becoming more competitive, and this is a result of it. You see teams like Minnesota and Kansas City that when they put it together, they can play with anybody. So, a lot of it's just teams getting better. I think guys are becoming more experienced. Guys in Kansas City are now, they're not considered as young anymore, and they're becoming more experienced.
We'll be back with lineups and tonight's first pitch after these messages. Live Sports. Tonight's game's available in Spanish on your SAP audio setting, provided by 97.5 FM ESPN Deportes, Chicago's first and only Spanish language sports radio station. And on a very cool night at the ballpark, 61 degrees, the White Sox have taken the field. So let's take a look at how Brad Ausmus is going to line up his Tigers tonight. Rajai Davis to lead it off with Ian Kinsler in the 2 spot. Then it's the DH, Miguel Cabrera, still nursing a hamstring difficulty, with Victor Martinez, Torrey Hunter, Austin Jackson, Nick Castellanos, Alex Avila, and Eugenio Suarez at shortstop and hitting 9. The White Sox defense and how they'll line up behind Johnny Danks, Alejandro Diaz in left, Adam Eaton in center, and Dion Viciedo in right, with Connor Gillespie, Alexi Ramirez, Gordon Beckham, and Jose Abreu in the infield. Adrian Nieto gets a nod behind the plate, and Johnny Danks on the hill. He's looking to even it up at 5-5. His ERA 4.32 on for his 13th start. Opponent's hitting .245. That's not too bad, and he's trying to continue that streak. 1.22 ERA his last 3 starts. There's some pretty good speed at the top of the lineup with Rajai Davis and Ian Kinsler. Davis is their best base runner by far. And there is the first-year manager of these Detroit Tigers, Brad Ausmus. This is his first managerial job. He says he's feeling a whole lot more comfortable. He's got a whole lot of talent to deal with. So far, they've been pretty much underachieving. The umpires, Las Diaz behind the plate, Mark Carlson at first, Mike Everett is at second, and Jeff Nelson is at third. So they've thrown the ball around the infield, and John Danks is ready to go. We're ready to go, and I'm ready to turn it over to my play-by-play partner, Ken Harrelson.
Hi, Stevie. Thank you. And once again, good evening, everyone, and welcome to White Sox Baseball right here for WGN Sports on the U. So I hope you could join us for what is now the second of this supposedly 4-game set. Last night's being Rained out in the first pitch of the ball game, taken inside. 33-year-old veteran Rajay Davis hitting at 273, 4 homers, 18 knocked in, and he also is 17 for 20 in stolen bases. There's a strike. Tigers come in hitting at 271 as a club with a 4.03 team ERA. And this is the 8th meeting between these two clubs in the first 7. We have won 3. 1-2 the count. That ball hit into left field. And that's out number 1. And here at the ballpark, 330 down the left field line, 335 down the right field line. 375 in the gaps and 400 straightaway center.
Well, that was job number 1. Keep Davis off base, because a man who came over as a free agent can do a whole lot of things, and score runs is one of them with that great speed.
Here's Kinsler. He was 0 for 5 in the opener. On Monday. Pops that pitch up. Abreu. He's there. 2 now. And this is how you like to face this guy. 2 out, nobody on.
They were waiting before they put out the lineups today because Cabrera is not usually their designated hitter. But because he was taken out of a ball game a couple of games ago, they were checking to see if his leg was okay. Obviously, this is a guy you've got to protect because he's got to be out there every day.
He wants to be out there every day. You know one thing, if he is not in there, you know he's hurt. Miguel Cabrera. Hitting at 329, 12 homers, 52 knocked in. 2 for 4 on Monday night with a homer, a long homer. And lifetime against Johnny is 10 for 38 with a homer. Outfield straight up. High into left field. Diaz. He just missed it. Meanwhile, a 1-2-3 inning, and after a half inning of play. Tigers nothing, and our guys coming to bat.
With Adam Eaton leading it off, and it's Gordon Beckham, Connor Gillespie, Jose Abreu, Adam Dunn, the DH, with Alexei Ramirez, Diane Viciedo, Alejandro Diaza, and Adrian Nieto catching and rounding it out. The defense, and how they'll line up behind Justin Verlander. Davis, Jackson, and Hunter in the outfield with Castellanos, Suarez, Kinsler, and Martinez in the infield. Alex Avila gets a nod behind the plate. And Justin Verlander on the hill. He's 6-5 this year with an ERA unfamiliar for him. 4.19 on for his 14th start. Opponent's batting average at 269, and you very rarely see that. So he's been struggling somewhat, and amazingly enough, it's been on the curveball. Right-hand hitters have hit it very well these days.
And before we show you our picks to click, you at home select yours. So here's Adam Eaton hitting a .255, a homer. He's driven an 18. Castellanos in on the grass at third, and Victor Martinez right at the cut of the grass at first. There's first pitch strike at 92. Sox come in hitting at .256 as a team with a 4.32 ERA. That one at 93. Sox 18-14 at home, while the Tigers are 17-12 on the road. That's foul out of play. Huge gap. I mean, a big gap out there in right center. Austin Jackson way over towards left. As he's going to have to make him get the ball down. He can't get it up there.
He threw 4 straight fastballs. Because if you're playing him as an opposite field hitter, the last thing you want to do is throw him an off-speed pitch. And he was a little tardy on that last one. They were 92, 93, and 2 at 94. You ever see Gordon in a better groove than he is right now?
No, he's right where we thought he would be. He's a player. I mean, he looks like he did when he first came up as a rookie. He's healthy.
That's 31 games at 341. Those are some big numbers.
No, he's playing like Gordon Beckham can. One thing surprised me a little bit is he didn't have the 4 home runs. Gordon can hit 15 to 20 home runs. Make no mistake about it. And without trying to.
I certainly think he's going to be able to do that, but looks to me this year, coming back into this lineup, first thing he wanted to do was use the whole field, which he certainly has accomplished. But he's been hitting the ball consistently hard. And when that happens, he will hit him up.
Gillespie was hitting the ball, barreling it up, squaring it up, spring training. And there's a good curveball. 2 down. But the last 3 weeks, nobody's hit the ball harder than Beckham.
Pretty good curveball, the first one that Verlander's used. And it was in a perfect spot.
So here he is, Gillespie at 353, no homers, 21 driven in. And I'm certainly surprised that Gillespie doesn't have any home runs.
He's come close a couple of times, but no, you see a 0 in that column. But 353, pretty stout.
And right now, let's check out our Southwest Airlines picks to click. Jim Angio, our director and the crew, going with Diaza. Steve's going with the man at the plate. And Greg Hopwood, Troy Brown, and I. They're the guys that take care of everybody here at the ballpark. Greg Hopwood and Troy Brown. We're going to go with Adam Eaton. That's popped up, so he's going to have himself a 1-2-3 inning. And after one, no score. Hitting at .332, 15 homers, 40 knocked in. Victor was 2 for 4 with a 2-run homer on Monday night. Takes first pitch strike.
This is Victor's last year of his contract. It's going to be real interesting to see what the Tigers do with him, because he certainly has more than protected Cabrera in front of him. And if he does go, they don't have anybody else even close to him as far as protection for Cabrera. They had Prince Fielder for a couple of years. Not that Cabrera needs a whole lot, but if he doesn't have anybody that can hit the ball out of the ballpark from the left side and back of him, I just wonder how he's going to see pitches.
He's not. He's not. It's just that simple. Cabrera is the one guy in baseball, if he doesn't have any protection, which he's got plenty with Victor, that's not going to see pitches. So all of a sudden now you lose his value, and that contract value goes way down.
Don't think for a minute that's not on the mind of the Tigers as they mull over what they're going to do with Victor Martinez.
Well, I think it's pretty safe to say, unless they've got something going with somebody else who's going to be making more money than they'll have to pay Victor to protect Miguel. Safe to say he'll be back in the Tiger uniform.
With the numbers Victor's put up over the last couple of years and the way he hits with runners in scoring position, you would say he's going to get a bundle probably for 4 years. And that's something you very rarely see. And I mean very rarely. You look at his batting average, 3rd. Home runs tied for 6th. Slugging percentage 3rd. On base percentage 5th. And what's even more remarkable probably than all of those numbers, that's just the 16th time he struck out this year. And he's got 15 home runs.
So here is Torrey Hunter, hitting at .267, 9 homers, 32 knocked in. Tank. And that is out number 2. And you can show off the colors of your alma mater at Collegedale on Wednesday, June 18th, with specially priced tickets for all college and university students, alumni, faculty, friends, and family. Tickets start at $10 for lower level seats. $10 for lower level seats they start at. So get your tickets by visiting whitesox.com/UNIV. Austin Jackson takes strike one. Oh, by the way, we told you our Southwest Airlines picks to click already. Who's got Diaz? Steve's got Gillespie. Greg Hopwood and Troy Brown and I have Adam Eaton. And those brought to you by Southwest Airlines. You can find their fares online only at southwest.com. There's a strike. Two out, 2 balls, 2 strikes. No, you don't find many guys that are going to be on the market who can do the things Victor Martinez can do, especially in the 7th, 8th, and 9th innings.
Now, he's one of the most valuable players around, and that puts a lot of pressure on the Tigers because they've got a pretty good payroll right now.
And you can cancel the post-game show. First hit of the ball game.
And Jackson, during this 6-game hitting streak, has taken that batting average from the high 230s, where it sits now in the mid 250s. So he's doing a lot better lately. He's cut down his strikeouts, making more contact than ever, and finally starting to hit the baseball.
So here's Castellanos. At 265, 5 homers, 21 knocked in. They got a couple of 22-year-olds in this lineup. Castellanos and Suarez. Jackson 7 for 9 in stolen bases. Has a decent lead. And that's a souvenir right side.
Jackson 7 out of 9 in the stolen base department, but he's got to be careful because Johnny Danks has a terrific move to first.
And that's not it.
No, he just kind of coasted over to first base that time. He would want to see Jackson take a little bigger lead.
There you go. Oh, changeup got him. And that'll retire the side after an inning and a half. No score.
Croatia. This afternoon at U.S. Cellular Field, some unofficial World Cup representatives of competing nations got the soccer championship off to an early start. Andre Rienzo from Brazil, Jose Quintana from Colombia, and Hector Nuese showed off their skills on the field just prior to batting practice. And Hector Nuese from the Dominican, they're not in the World Cup. But I'll give you a half a goal in Croatia right now, and I don't even know how good Brazil is. What do you think?
I think it's a good thing they can throw a baseball.
I'll tell you what, Andre looks like he's got some skills.
Yeah,
he's got some skills.
He's got a little.
I don't think you can come out of Brazil without kicking a soccer ball a whole lot during your youth.
No, they've got some trophies to prove it too.
Yeah, just a few.
So here's Abreu. Gun on deck. Ramirez in the hole. And Verlander on the bump. The ball hit high and deep. Weber. He looks up. You can put it on the board. Yeah. Yeah. And it's 1-0 Sox.
Try to sneak a first ball fastball by Abreu. That was at 92, and it turned into home run number 19 and RBI number 50. And Verlander has given up just his 7th home run of the year in 87 innings. But a first ball fastball. And since coming off the disabled list, 7 games and 1 at bat, Jose has 4 home runs and 8 driven in.
Adam takes first pitch fastball strike. Adam at 236, 11 homers and 28 knocked in. El Cano.
He did that to Verlander in Detroit. It went over the center field wall.
I'm getting ready to say, went a little further in Detroit.
It was a little warmer in that game than this one, but equally as effective.
Checks it up.
Moises Sierra would like a little bit of that power to rub off on him.
He's got some.
He does.
But not like the Cam.
Not that power, no. Not too many guys have that power. Well, he's going to be something to watch. He's in the infancy stages of what's going to be just a spectacular career. He's going to do it in a White Sox uniform, folks, and coming out to see him is going to be a treat.
That curveball down low to even the count at 2. He knew it. 1 out. Third strikeout for Verlander. So here's Alexei. Hitting at 310, 7 homers, 36 knocked in. He is 16 for 64 lifetime off Verlander with a homer. Checks it up. Takes that little spinner outside for a ball. Couple of finals. Kansas City beat Cleveland at Kauffman Stadium 4-1. Ventura over Bauer. Minnesota beat Toronto 7-2 up in Canada. Hughes over Stroman. Baltimore leading Boston 4-0. Bottom of the 5th at Camden Yards. Three and 1 to count.
Jose Abreu's hit the longest home run in this ballpark this year. 442 feet. Nice conversation with Adrian Nieto, who's going to be facing Verlander, probably telling him, you get a first ball fastball, hit it a long way.
Oh, 88-mile-an-hour spinner. 2 down. And a reminder that prorated split season ticket plans are an affordable way to experience the benefits of being a White Sox season ticket holder. Weekend plans, well, they start as low as $98 a seat. Weekend plans start as low as $84 a seat. So split season plans will not be available after June 18th. So purchase yours today by visiting whitesox.com or 312-674-1000. First pitch strike to Tang. Ball hit hard, caught, nice play by Kinsler. But El Cañón, the cannon, is 19th homer, and we lead it 1-0. Run by Abreu. So for the Tigers, it'll be Avila, Suarez, and Davis. Alex at 221, 4 homers, 14 knocked in. He was 2 for 4 with an RBI on Monday night. Ate him up. 1 pitch, 1 out. 6-3 if you're scoring with it.
Well, you love to see these Tigers being that aggressive because Johnny Danks is throwing the first pitch in the zone. He's not throwing real hittable pitches, but that one was up and in. Good spot to throw Avila, especially when you have that shift on him because you're forcing him to hit the ball that way. And John's kept it to a minimum of pitches so far with 1 out here in the 3rd.
Suarez called up for his leather, not his lumber. But he's hitting at 364 with a couple of homers and 4 knocked in. He hit a homer on Monday night. Curveball.
He also had a pretty impressive at bat with Avila at second base. Well, Rajay Davis actually is a pinch runner. Brad Ausmus let him swing away with nobody out, and he hit it far enough to center field to move Davis into third base, which represented the tying run, which eventually did not score, but it was a good at bat by Suarez.
Change up misses.
To the left of Brad Ausmus is Gene Lamont, former Major League catcher, former Major League manager.
So he walks in the 1-out walk, and that'll bring up Rajay Davis. And Sox fans all season long, you score with Papa John's Pizza. Now, when you get 5 runs or more, that means if we score 5 runs or more, you'll get 50% off your entire online order at papajohns.com with the promo code SOX5 the following day. So better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's. He goes through it.
Davis came over as a free agent, was with Toronto last year. Routinely steals bases in the mid-40s. Got up to 50 stolen bases one year.
Well, he's always played well against us. Against most people, but especially us.
I think it's pretty good man to have around. You see against the White Sox, 309 lifetime. 22 bags in 46 games.
One and one to count. And count 1-2. Suarez, 21 stolen bases, 2012 at West Michigan. Got a pretty good lead. Gap out there in right center.
Davis has grounded into 3 double plays this year, which is somewhat surprising with his speed.
Pretty good pitch, did not get it.
This is actually a very good pitch. So much so that it actually caught the middle of the plate.
Well, I think the movement by Nieto.
There's no doubt he was looking for it inside and then move all the way across.
Pops him up. It's academic. Alexei now Alejandro, once he makes they get to force at second. But once Alexei makes that call and then Alejandro comes in, one of them's got to give way.
Well, fortunately, Gordon Beckham hung out around second base, and there was nothing that Suarez could do. Alexei's calling for it. Alejandro's calling for it. Alexei has to give way in that situation, but last thing you want to do is touch a guy while he's trying to make a catch. But they do get the force at second base. Got to get some better communication, boys.
Here's Kinsler. So now you've got a man 17 for 20. Traded places with a guy who hadn't attempted one this year. They got him picked off. Yes! He gone. Now here comes Osmus out of the dugout.
It looked like he was in there at second, and I think that Brad, he's going to take his time because he wants to look back in the dugout to see if Mike Everett was right or because the ball beat him, if he was wrong. If you get picked off, this is the only thing you can do is try to outrun the throw to second. Well, it looked like he was safe on that angle. Nothing Gordon could do because that throw pulls him to the third base side of second. Looked like the hand was in before the tag, but it's a bang bang play. You got to have definitive proof, remember, and that's the key in these challenges. The Tigers are indeed challenging it.
Actually, that's not a good sign at all in that situation by Davis. He lost a half a step by trying to get after Beckham.
Well, from the angle that Mike Everett was at, which is behind the play, the tag was on the back leg, but it was very difficult, almost impossible to see the arm touching the bag. So now we'll see if there is definitive proof, and if Brad Osmus does lose it, and an angle we have not shown. Can't really tell from that one definitively.
So we'll wait it out. Safe.
Looked like the first angle we showed looked like the angle that they probably looked at and said he got the hand in there. And you can watch the hand as Gordon has to come off to the third base side. The hand right there before the tag.
So the stolen base, number 18. And that ball is popped up. Piazza is there, makes the catch, and is moved. So we'll go to the bottom of the third. We lead it 1-0.
coverage continues tonight with a semifinal matchup. Fans can vote online through Facebook and Twitter. Tonight's matchup featured Jen Latta from CSN Chicago pitching against Ramblin' Ray Stevens from US 99.5 FM. Fans should visit whitesox.com/bullpen bracket to see the challenge brackets and learn how to vote. I got to believe that Jen won that one hands down, but we'll put it in the hands of the fans.
It'll be Diaza, Nieto, and Adam Eaton. Alejandro at 197, 5 homers, 20 knocked in. He is 5 for 26 lifetime off Verlander with a couple of home runs. Takes the strike. 1-1 to count.
It looked like it went off the leg of Las Diaz.
If you're just tuning in, Brady with his 19th homer, leading off the second. First ball fastball, get it out of here.
I had a long talk with Gene Lamont before the game today. He was talking about, I was asking about Alex Avila. I said, is it just against us or is it against everybody that Alex seems to take a much bigger beating behind the plate than most catchers? He says, no, it's against everybody. He says he gets hit with a lot of fouled balls. He gets hit with a lot of bats on backswing. And he's tried everything. He's tried moving up and moving back, and he just has become a ball magnet. And Diaz got hit.
So the leadoff man aboard.
The way he's moving it looks like it's off the left hand. Well, probably left forearm.
Well, his way he stands at the plate and his approach to the pitch, he's going to get a lot of check swings called. He's going to get hit. In reality, he's hitting himself.
So that ball probably was, what, 3-4 inches inside, maybe.
So here is Adrian hitting at 283. Just a short lead by Alejandro.
Victor did a nice job of crossing over the base runner, tried to keep that one out of right field as Verlander came and eyelash him throwing it away. 7 out of 11 in stolen bases for Diaz.
That pitch on the corner. To the count. Finale of the series tomorrow. A pretty good matchup. Chris Sale, Max Scherzer. So make your plans to be with us here at the ballpark. makeup date for that rained out game last night has not yet been officially announced. Sale against Scherzer tomorrow.
Andre Rienzo, who was supposed to go in this series, will move back to Sunday. Well, he'll face Kansas City in the finale of that 3-game series.
Just did get a piece of it. Verlander, one of those guys, very seldom looks at first. He'll get a sign from the catcher, but a lot of times he just predetermines that he's going to go over there. Tried to backdoor him right there. Almost got it.
They're going to take a long look down at Joe McEwing, but with a 2-2 count. Not much the third base coach is going to give you.
And a full count. So he had him 0-2. It is now 3-2 with Adam on deck. Change up.
Verlander got lucky. He threw a high change. You don't get away with too many of those. He has filled up just about every aspect of the strike zone, but he hasn't thrown one down the middle yet.
That one at 94, foul back.
With Diaz running and Avila standing up to make a throw in case he threw it by Nieto, that's where catchers run the risk of getting hit awfully hard with a foul ball. But there's nothing they can do. They've got to play it as if he's going to throw it by him for strike 3.
There you go. And that's ball. That's a good at bat right there for Adrian. 0-2 against Verlander, and then draws a walk.
Took 9 pitches out of the arm of Justin Verlander.
So the first 2 men aboard with Adam Eaton struck out leading off the bottom of the first at the plate. Joe McEwing going through his sequence.
And surprisingly, Adam does not have a sacrifice this year. Although Castellanos now going through his set of signs, and then he verbally is telling Suarez, because he just got here, and Verlander, how they want to charge in case there is a bunt.
He did not break it down. Usually on the first move, a hitter, if he's going to bunt, will make a motion, make a move. He did not. That one at 96.
That bounced all the way back off the facade of the upper deck and back onto the field.
One and one to count. Well, struck him out on nothing but high stuff, and he's 1 and 2 on 2 high pitches. You got to make him get the ball down.
As long as he's swinging at it, there's no reason for Verlander to go anyplace else.
Nope. Hard throwers, you got to make them get it down. Sinker ballers, you got to make them get it up. And he throws him something right there that he can advance the runners on. So he'll take it. Ducks on the pond, 1 out.
For Verlander, the thought process there was not particularly good, because you got Adam Eaton, who hadn't really touched any of his high fastballs, and you throw him a curveball and he just can tap it to the right side, and he accomplishes exactly what the bunt would have accomplished. So now Gordon Beckham with a chance to add to that 1-0 lead.
Gordon called out on strikes, curveball. Yeah, that was good for us there, that sequence. Both of you and I both were just sitting there waiting for that high fastball to be thrown.
I thought he was going to throw another couple of them.
There it was, fouls it away.
Gordon got the 95-mile-an-hour fastball, but he got it on the inner third. Very hittable. But against Detroit, he's been awfully good, hitting in the neighborhood of 350 over the last 21 games.
Bit of a gap out there in left center. Lays off the high 96-mile-an-hour fastball.
Infield is back. Everybody but Martinez at first. He's even with the bag, but well off the line.
That ball's. Whoa, that's close. Wow. Wow.
Let's take a look at it as it goes down the line. Looks like that hit off the Ozzy in foul territory.
He can't get out of the way of it.
No, I know. It's going to find him somewhere.
Cannot get out of the way of it. Ball's hunting him down. And he lays off that one.
That one definitely went off him because it was going foul. Piazza was in foul territory. The ball caromed back into fair territory, but obviously a foul ball.
Well, that's what we saw, was a ball in fair territory.
Yes.
And that breaking ball.
Nice job of staying alive by Gordon. It's an 89-mile-an-hour slider. It's low and away on the black at the knees, and he was able to stay alive by fouling it off. More times than not, you're a strikeout victim with this one.
Yeah, that's going to get a bunch of them. Another good job by Gordon.
Went back to the same spot. This one a little higher. Same speed. Same pitch, a slider. And Gordon fouled this one off. Two and three different quadrants.
And a full count. Verlander was built to throw a lot of pitches.
And he has more pitches than anybody else over the last 7-8 years.
That was
.17 starts against our Sox. Record 13-3. The last 17, he started off pretty shaky against our ball club, but lately not too shaky. Those are pretty impressive numbers.
payoff pitch. And that's ball 4. That will load him up for Gillespie.
So the at-bat by Beckham, the at-bat by Nieto, combined 17 pitches, both resulting in walks. Could provide a pretty big inning against a former Cy Young Award winner.
Well, regardless of what happens here, it's been a good inning for us.
52 pitches already. That gets him in the very vulnerable bullpen a little earlier than normal.
So here's Connor. He popped up to Victor Martinez. Just behind Beckham. And he takes ball 1. Connor made a nice approach to that pitch. Just couldn't square it up.
We're with the bases loaded. Fairly limited sample size. This is the 11th time. 2 for the previous 10.
And a big pitch coming up, the 1-1. Got it by him at 97. That's the first time he's hit 97.
Both the Sox hitters and the Detroit pitchers are above league average of 62% when you get the bases loaded and 1 out for run expectancy.
And he pops him up again. So he's out, 2 down.
Our fourth drive of the game is a first ball fastball at 92 and gone. It's the only run so far. And it's the 19th of the year and the 50th driven in by Jose. That's our fourth drive of the game.
He is now 3 for 7 off Verlander with 2 homers.
career with the bases loaded. 2 for 4 with a grand slam. All the power numbers for Jose. Pretty impressive in his very young career.
And very quickly the count 0-2. So now he's got to cinch it up and hunker down.
Well, we've seen 2 pretty good pitches through a 97-mile-an-hour fastball inside at the knees, then saw an 87-mile-an-hour straight change in the same spot as the fastball. Fouled them both off.
So we have the bases loaded, 1 out, can't do anything with it, but we still lead it 1-0. That's 0-1-0 for them. It'll be Cabrera, Martinez, and Hunter. First pitch strike, Cabrera just missed one. His first at bat, flying high and deep to left field. That was with 2 out, nobody on, and this is the second place you've ever had with nobody on. One and one to count. Outfield playing in for the most part straight up.
So far this at bat, everything has been away to Cabrera, except for that.
And 3-1 count.
Stayed away with the first 3 and tried to jam him, but too far inside off the plate.
And that's fair. Change up. So the leadoff double. That is his 22nd two-bagger.
Takes it right down the line. No chance at all for Gillespie. And Cabrera running gingerly. He did strain that hamstring. Still in the lineup. Won't come out of the lineup. But he will protect himself. 434 doubles.
Here's Victor. He struck out on a changeup his first trip. He's got a job to do. And that's into right center field. Tank makes the catch. Now here's the throw. And Cabrera into third.
Viciedo make a very good throw to third base and made it a whole lot closer than it appeared when the ball left the bat. Cabrera laughing because he didn't think he'd have to hustle quite this much, especially with Viciedo having to right himself, but he's got a strong arm. And that one was right there. Cabrera just in ahead of the throw. Dave Clark, the coach at third.
So here's Torrey Hunter. He went out to his counterpart as he takes strike one. He keeps running. He got to run on a little bit on, not too much on the double, but he had to run very hard there. But he just won't come out. He wants to play. Change up. And the count 0-2.
Infield is back. They're going to concede the run against the White Sox for the course of his career. 272 for Torrey Hunter. That includes a whole lot of big hits when he was wearing that Minnesota uniform.
He's beaten us too many times in his career with the leather and the lumber. Game is tied at 1. That's an experienced at bat right there to pick up the RBI to tie the game by Torrey Hunter.
RBI number 33, and knowing the infield was back and knowing they're conceding the run, he's going completely defensive here. He just wants to tap the ball in the middle infield and we drive home the tying run.
That's the way to get it done. Let's put it this way. That's the easiest way to get it done. Try to hit the fly ball. You're liable to pop it up. You get a pitch that you can hit down on and hit it in the ground like he did. That was it. And you got the changeup. 1-2. So Victor does his job. With Cabrera at second, nobody out. See him inside out the pitch, driving it, shoving it to right field, right center. Couple of real pros right there. And really, it's just baseball 101. Two-2 pitch. That's a can of corn. But they tie it up. We'll go to the bottom of the fourth. 1-1.
by visiting WGN.com and click on the Game Zone banner for updated stats and information. The Game Zone is powered by St. Xavier University. Tradition, innovation, this is where they meet. There is Kate Upton, Justin Verlander's girlfriend, celebrating her birthday this week. She has, as you would expect, become a big Tiger fan.
It'll be Dunn, Ramirez, and Viciedo. Adam struck out, called out on a fastball. Goes through that one at 94. Curveball. Good pitch in the count 0-2. He rings him up. I don't think so.
Appeal to Jeff Nelson. Adam thought he had at least one more.
No, he did. He just missed the call, that's all. Missed the call. So here's Alexei. To another count. Alexei hit a little soft comebacker to Verlander. Three and one.
Young man taking his own trip to the concession stands. Dad or mom has to be around. Somebody had to pay for it.
Kinsler cannot get there to get the glove down. So the base hit, the 1-out single by Alexei, and that'll bring up Viciedo. Just our second hit.
Kinsler made a very good play earlier in the ball game. This one just eluded him. Now our best base runner in a possible steal situation.
12 for 15. Oops. No, can't get it. So that's out number 2 with Viciedo at first. And a reminder, fans, that the first 20,000 fans on Saturday, June 14th, will receive a White Sox cap presented by the Private Bank. The Private Bank we saw for X. So purchase your tickets today by visiting WhiteSox.com or calling 866-SOX-GAME. There's Diaza. He was hit by a pitch. They got him on the left forearm, leading off the third inning. we had a chance to do some damage, and Verlander pitched out of it. Gillespie to pop up, and Brayer to strike out. Ball gets away. Well, Tank now moses on down on the error by Verlander.
This has not been a particularly good thought process night for Justin Verlander. First of all, Viciedo does not have an attempt at a steal this year. Second of all, that lead was not very much, and he threw it away, so it puts runner in scoring position that, at least for the moment, should not have been there.
Now make him pay. Make it hurt. Just on the outside edge of the outside corner.
Man at second and 2 outs. Sox have delivered 17% of the time. League average of 20. Tiger pitchers have given up runs 21% of the time.
Breaking ball down and in, 1-1. Mentioned earlier, he's got a couple of home runs against Verlander. One and two the count. Nice gap in right center if he can find it.
Brett Osmus has to monitor carefully as the amount of pitches. It'll be 74th coming on the next pitch. We're not out of the fourth yet.
That's chop foul. Well, guys like Verlander, they're going to throw a lot of foul balls. Hard throwers are going to throw a lot of foul balls, a lot of pitches. Going to have a lot of strikeouts, a lot of walks, a lot of foul balls. Full count. High in the center field. And that'll retire the side. We're into the fifth, tied at 1. on 2 hits, 1 error for the Tigers, and 1 on 2 hits, no errors for our Sox. It'll be Castellanos, Avila, and Suarez, the lower third of their order. Nick struck out, called out on a changeup his first trip. Takes a breaking ball strike.
One of the reasons why they made the Prince Fielder deal was, one, to get rid of some money, but also to open up third base for Castellanos so they could shift Cabrera to first and get some more years out of him as a defender. Tigers figured Castellanos was ready to contribute. He's been a pretty solid hitter.
That ball hit high and deep into left center field. Adam can't get there. So the leadoff double. Made a mistake with that changeup.
This ball is up. It's not a strike. Castellanos shows you how strong he is. He reaches out, flips it. That ball almost leaves the ballpark. Long run for Adam. He can't get to it. And so an ominous way to start the 5th inning.
Here is Alex Avila, grounded out to Alexei, who was on the first base side of second. In fact, he was almost right in front of Gordon Beckham's spot when he made the play. That hit him. So 2 men on, nobody out.
Tries to ride that fastball inside like the last time. This cut off the padding of that lead elbow. This time for Avila, he's hit for the 3rd time this year. And for Johnny Danks, he's hit his 6th man.
So here's Suarez. He walked in the 3rd inning.
Very good bunt on the first major league sacrifice for Eugenio Suarez. He got it down in a perfect spot, and it moved the runners along.
It'll bring up Rajai Davis. Rajai has gone out to left and hit into a 6-4 fielder's choice, and then picked up his 18th stolen base. So Johnny's going to do some chunking right here. There's a good start. Pops him up. Jose is there, and that's out number 2.
Good pitch, the 2nd straight change, and this one out of the zone. Davis went after it and couldn't do anything with it.
Well, you cannot ease up. Now it's the rock in the hard place. You got a very aggressive hitter up there in Kinsler, and you got Miguel Cabrera on deck. Kinsler 0 for 2. He's fouled out to Abreu, and he has fouled out to Diaz on left. Takes first pitch, strike, change.
Kinsler's going to be swinging the bat. He's walked 10 times in 256 at bats.
He's aggressive. He's one of the most aggressive hitters in baseball. He has been since he put a uniform on it with the Texas Rangers. Very quickly, the count 0-2.
Rajai Davis not particularly happy with that at bat. Swung a pitch out of the zone and could not deliver.
Put him away right here. Hard high underneath the hands, or slow low. Ball hit hard, but hit foul. Anytime you get even though the chances are almost nil, but anytime you got a catcher second base and you got a middle infielder at the plate, you got to make sure. Just as I said, chances are almost nil, but that's where you got to take a little precaution. That's into left field. Piazza makes the catch. Yes. Reaches up, hauls it in to save a couple of runs. Nice play by Alejandro. And we're halfway home, tied at 1. And what a catch by Alejandro.
A good job, and both teams have had opportunities to break through, but both pitchers have made terrific pitches when they've had to. So we've got the tie ball game here, and both guys starting to see their pitch count get up there. We'd love to see him break through against Verlander, who's been a little higher than our boy at this point, Johnny Danks.
Well, Verlander's going to throw a lot of pitches.
He's going to throw a lot of pitches.
Nice play right there. He got a good jump. That ball was hit hard by Kinsler. So here we go. Start off with Nieto, then go back to the top of the order with Eaton and Beckham. Nieto had a real good at bat back in the third inning. Fell behind 0-2 and then drew a walk. That put two men on, nobody out. Eaton got him over to second, third. Then Beckham walked to load him up. And then Gillespie popped up to short, and Abreu struck out. So we had our chances there. You're just tuning in, the only run for us is a home run by El Cañon. His 19th. And once again, very quickly, the count 0-2 to Adrian. fouls that one away. Start us off right here, big guy.
Tried to wipe him out with a backdoor breaking ball, but missed down.
Pulls a string on him. 5th strikeout. 6th strikeout. 1 down. So here's Adam. Struck out and then got the job done. First and second, got him over to the third and second with a slow grounder to the right side. Curveball high. Sox took the opener on Monday 6-5. There's a shot down over the head of the drawn in Martinez. So now he's going to make the turn. He's on his way to third. He will get there.
It really helps when they're in at the corners trying to take away a bunt. Because if Victor Martinez was back in a normal position, he's got that ball. Turns into a triple and a chance to break this 1-1 tie. That was a changeup. It was down. It was out over the plate. And our Xfinity high-speed replay, he drives it into the corner, and then with the play in front of him at this point, he takes a look. That's all he has to do. Doesn't have to pick up his coach there. He saw there was no way Hunter was going to get to it, and he's in at third base easily. Xfinity, your home for the most live sports.
Now the infield comes in. Good base runners don't need coaches.
On that play.
Any play. They don't need them. Gordon takes it inside. Yeah, those good base runners have those instincts. They know where everybody is. They know where the outfielders, who can throw, who can. All that stuff comes into play with good base runners.
Infield in at all 4 positions.
Two 2-0 the count.
Only 2 wild pitches this year for Verlander, and Avila did a nice job of smothering that one.
They're going to come home.
Contact play.
Diaz says he got him.
In the contact play, you're going to run. Now, Robin is coming out.
Take your time. Take your time.
Well, Robin's going to be looking over in that dugout. Mark Parent is on the phone. He wants a confirmation that he was indeed out at the plate. Then Robin will make his determination. And he was out, and Robin is not going to challenge. On a contact play, you're going. And if Castellanos bobbles this ball for a minute, Adam is in.
So that ball was hit hard by Beckham. That's all he can do is hit it hard.
Good call by Laz Diaz. And a bang-bang play at the plate.
Good play all around. The slide. Castellanos did his job. A hard hit grounder, and Avila did his job. Beckham did his job.
And Laz did his job.
And Laz didn't play all the way around.
And unfortunately, the go-ahead run does not score.
So here is Gillespie. 2 pop-ups, one to first and one to short. Beckham just 1 for 1 in stolen bases. Chopper 2 hopper. So we have another opportunity. Can't cash in, and we'll go to the 6th. Tied at 1. Here in the top of the 6th. They've got their big man leading off here in the top of the 6th. We got our big man leading off in the bottom of the 6th.
And there's a big man watching.
Berra 1 for 2. Just missed one in his first at bat. And leading off the 4th, he doubled and scored. One and one to count. Berra, probably the smartest hitter, probably in all of baseball. It's high into center field. Right in Jimmy John's area.
He's 1 for 3, but he could easily have been 3 for 3.
And a reminder, every time our White Sox defense has a 3-up, 3-down inning, Mazda will make a donation to White Sox charities. They fight against hunger in the Chicagoland area. Brought to you by your Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana Mazda dealers. WhiteSox.com or 866-SOX game for tickets. Victor struck out, swinging on a changeup. And then went out to right center field deep enough to get Cabrera, even with that sore hamstring, to tag and move into third, where he scored on a ground ball by Torrey Hunter. Well, rips that one into left field.
You got a fastball right down the middle. And Martinez too good a hitter to miss one of these. It's rare to see a switch hitter be that good from both sides of the plate, but Martinez is just that. And if anything, he's actually a much better right-hand hitter than a left-hand hitter.
Torrey went out to right and then got the run in. With the infield playing back, just hit a little soft ground ball right side. That's all he wanted to do. And picked up his 33rd RBI. Change up. And count 0-2.
Torrey's had a very solid, if not a spectacular career. 323 home runs is nothing to sneeze at. Either his 1,260 runs batted in.
Got him. 2 down.
Good straight change when you're ahead of a hitter 0-2 and throw it that far off the plate. Occasionally you get them expanding their zone, as Hunter just did.
So here's Jackson. He singled sharply into right field and he went out to center. Takes first pitch strike. Another thing Torrey did on that ground ball to knock in Cabrera, he knew that if he hits the ball hard at somebody, even though they were playing back, they still got a shot at home plate with Cabrera running. As you mentioned, all he did was just tap it.
Reach out when they're going to concede the run.
Just tapped it.
Veteran hitter understands the situation. He couldn't have played it any better.
Change up way off the plate. 2 out, 1-2 the count.
Nice catch by Adrian. That ball was way outside. He was able to go out there and make sure that Martinez didn't wind up in scoring position. Adrian's just getting better and better behind the plate. And he's got a pretty good instructor in Mark Parent. And Tyler Flowers helping him along.
He gone. Another changeup. Good motion. Meanwhile, it'll be Abreu, Dunn, and Ramirez for us in our half of the 6th inning.
Chicago tomorrow night from 6 to 8 p.m. Guests will receive a photograph and commemorative autograph card. Lucky fans 21 and over can enter for a chance to win White Sox, Miller Lite, hoodie or hat, and register for a chance to play softball at U.S. Cellular Field. That's brought to you by Miller Lite, the original light beer and official beer of your Chicago White Sox.
So here's Abreu, 1 for 2. That homer, his 19th, leading off the second inning. Outfield slightly to the right. And that is taken, ball 1. Pitch at 93. And this will be the 90th pitch coming up. And that's a changeup.
Jose is 3rd in home runs, 6th in runs batted in, and 3rd in slugging percentage. Not bad when you consider that he was on the disabled list and landed there for a couple of weeks.
Lays off that breaking ball. That was a good checkup. He's been chasing that pitch.
If he continues to lay off that and they have to throw him strikes, those numbers are going to skyrocket.
That slider hit hard. So the leadoff man aboard.
That's just excellent plate coverage. This slider is down and out of the zone. He just goes down, figuring he probably is going to get the ball away. These days, Verlander, if anything, will throw most of the right-handed hitters away.
He comes inside with that fastball, but not for strikes.
No, he pushes you back off the plate, and then he wants to get you out away, and that's the reason why right-handers are hitting .317 against him this year, which is for him over about 100 points higher than in any other year.
Adams 0 for 2 with a couple of punch outs. Except down low. One 4-1 for the Tigers, 1-4-0 for our Sox. He's got the catbird seat.
Verlander has pitched out of a lot of jams, and this one has the potential of being yet another one.
Gets a short lead. And there's a base hit down, boy. Just punches it through the left side. So now 2 on, nobody out.
He tried to stay away to negate the power of Dunn. He did stay away, and Adam went right with it. That fastball in the outside corner. Adam takes it through the vacated left side. There's about 75 feet of room to hit it through, and he was able to do that. So Verlander in another jam. And once again, Castellanos getting a signal from the bench, then giving his signals to the infield, and verbally going to Verlander and telling him what defense is on.
You got Victor staring him right in the face. Castellanos right at the cut of the grass. Now Victor's going to back up a little bit. And that pitch taken down low. everybody's going to be safe. Bases loaded. Nobody out.
Expecting a bunt. Castellanos was in. All he could do was bat it down, keep it out of the outfield, but couldn't do anything else with it. That one looked like it hit off his wrist, and no chance at all to get Ramirez or anybody else. Tonight, right-hand hitters 4 for 10 against Verlander, which has been following a pattern that he's exhibited all year.
So here's Tank. Tank is lined hard. Kinsler made an excellent catch on him diving. Then he hit into a fielder's choice. So sacks packed. That one at 97. Verlander, for the most part, keeps something in his back pocket.
Pretty big speed at first.
One and one to count now. A big pitch coming up. Scheme of things.
Triple digits for Verlander before the 6th inning. Actually 5+ innings.
Diaz on deck. Blocked nicely by Avila. Two pitch. And it's full.
Ian Kroll throwing in the pen.
Ground ball. Rack him up. But Abreu scores. And we lead it 2-1. And here is Alejandro. Pick him up. Come on, Alejandro. He was hit by a pitch and he went out to center field. That one at 97. Pretty good job by Vila just to get that one.
He's got his work cut out for him with Verlander, who's got terrific stuff, throws a lot of his breaking balls in the dirt, and doesn't have the greatest of command with his fastball. Feel of Jeff Nelson, he said nope, he didn't.
And he's got a 2-0 count. Well, that's what good pitchers do, though. They get in jams and then they keep them to a minute. They pitch their way out of it.
He's had more than his share tonight.
Oh, yeah. 3-0 with Nieto on deck. Well, that's one reason he's 61 games over 500.
Yeah. Big jam in the third. Moderate jam in the fourth. Big jam in the fifth. And again here in the sixth. Meanwhile, you look up, there's still only 2 runs on the board.
Goes through it. That one at 96. So 3-1. And it's back to full. Just tuning in, this inning started off with that solid single in the center field by Abreu on a slider. Then Dunn just punched one on the ground, base hit into the left field. Ramirez with an infield single, then 4-6-3 double play. Viciedo scoring the run. And the payoff pitch. That's softly hit. Get down, it will. Thank you very much. Adams scores, and it's a 3-1 Sox lead. Big, big, big.
21st run batted in for Alejandro. He got a high inside fastball. This one wasn't a strike, but in protection mode he was able to get the bat out and just got enough of it to drop it in front of Torrey Hunter.
So here's Adrian. He has walked and struck out. Checks it up, takes ball 1. Huge gap out there in right center. He can hit it. The Astros will score. And the count 2-0. This will be pitch number 112. Our dugout for a souvenir. And Neto another excellent pickup by Rick Connor. .24-year-old switch hitting catcher is just getting better and better. Just a lot of that goes, as mentioned earlier, to Mark Parent, bringing him along. Very nice. And alone talking with Tyler Flowers. Three and one. Sometimes because of numbers problems, clubs have to roll the dice with players, leave them out there, and just hope that nobody will pick them up.
I think Mike Rizzo with Washington felt that with only 8-ball experience, you protect them to AAA. Nobody would take them in the big leagues or keep them if they did take them.
And there's ball 4, so he walks for the second time. Well, it's the first time either one of us has ever seen that.
An A-ball player that sticks with a big league team.
Was claimed and made the big league roster.
And Brad Osmus coming. I think that's probably going to be it for Verlander, who's down in the game, up in the pitches. He's got 115 of them, unless, being one of the aces of his staff, he asked him if he's still got anything left in the tank.
Well, the big man's not going. He don't want to come out of there. You know that. I mean, he's just a horse. He always has been, and he always will be.
All Osmus wanted to do was check with him. Can you get this guy? He answered in the affirmative. Now we'll see if he actually can get him.
Well, sometimes you want to reset a guy. Give him a break. He's a little frustrated. Giving up a couple of runs here. He walks the 9th place hitter. His mind's not quite there. You want to go out and just reset it and ask him, can you get this guy? Can you get this next guy? And bring him back into his mode of pitching rather than just throwing. Adam is 1 for 3 at triple. Back in the 5th inning, which was last inning, which seems like a long time ago. Takes it at 95.
.5 minutes ago, Verlander took his warm-up pitches and got ready to face Abreu. And he's still out there.
Got to make him get it down, Adam. Got to make him get it down. Two on, two out, two in, 2 balls, 2 strikes, and a full count. And when Verlander gets something, he gets wound tight a lot of times, and that's just from being a good competitor. 61 games over 500. He did not go. He did not go, and that'll load him up. So here's Beckham.
One way or the other, this is going to be the last man that Verlander is going to face, and Brad Ausmus kind of got trapped once he let him go after Adam Eaton. When he doesn't get him, now he's knocking at the door of 122 pitches. And you don't want to bring a lefty to face Gordon.
Gordon's 0 for 2 with a walk. There's a shot base hit. That boy Gordon. And that's going to score 2 more. And it's a 5-1 Sox lead. Gordon Beckham.
RBI's 14 and 15 as Gordon goes right back up the middle. That will be the last pitch that Verlander is going to throw. And this has turned into a big 6th, one that Verlander does not make it out of. So we'll step out and be back after these messages. ERA of 2.05 on for the 32nd time. We saw him a couple of nights ago for an inning. He walked a couple, gave up a hit, but no runs. And he inherits Sox base runners at first and second, trying to get out of this 6th inning as the Sox bat around and drive Verlander from the mound.
Well, we've had some really good at bats in this inning. Big 2-out single by Diaza and a huge at bat by Nieto. Once again falling behind in the count, drawing a walk. Then Eaton walked, and then the big base hit by Beckham. So here is Gillespie facing Naperville native, and he takes ball 1. Gillespie has popped up to first, popped up to short, and grounded out to second. Beckham at first, Eaton at second. One and two the count. That ball hit hard. Get over his head. It will. That's going to score 2 more. And it's a 7-1 Sox lead. Yes. A hanger, and he heard it.
23 driven in now for Gillespie. And both of those runs charged to Verlander. As this hanging breaking ball just rolls over the middle of the plate, stays up high, and Connor hits the daylights out of it over the head of Jackson, who had no chance. And the hit parade continues in a big 6-run 6th.
And they're going to put El Canon on. He started it off with that solid single to center.
We'll see a lot more of these as the year moves along. That's only the 4th intentional walk given to Abreu this year.
And once again, a reminder, make your plans to be with us tomorrow. Good sale against Max Scherzer. Can't make it to the ballpark. That game will be over Comcast Sportsnet.
And the expanded K zone, where you get in for a well reduced price. You get a great seat, you get a placard, you get a t-shirt, and you get to celebrate each and every strikeout, which probably will be many from Chris Sale.
So here is Adam. Don't stop now, boys. That ball's lined in the right field for a base hit. So Gillespie will score, and it's an 8-1 ball game. Second hit of the inning for Adam. That was a big at bat he had earlier. After Abreu let it off with a single, he just poked one on the ground into left field for a single.
RBI number 29. The 7th hit and 7th run of the inning. That's going to be it for Kroll. He's going to depart this one, as Brad Ausmus has already pointed to the pen. So Adam Dunn knocks Ian Kroll out. And with a 7-run lead, we'll step out and be back after these messages.
game day audio, membership gifts, and other exclusive perks throughout the season, all for just $29.95. So visit SoxPrideClub.com to join.
And Al Albuquerque comes in the game. Albuquerque at 2-1, the ERA 3.33 on for the 32nd time. He's become a slider ball pitcher. Still got a good arm. 24 to third innings, 29 strikeouts, just 8 walks. And he inherits base runners at first and second, and still 2 outs as Kroll failed to get anybody out.
A lot of good 2-out hitting. Continuation hitting. Here's Alexei. He's 2 for 3. Takes first pitch strike from Albuquerque. Ground ball in the hole. Suarez with a nice play. And that'll retire the side. But a big cookie number goes up on that board. We score 7. We'll go to the 7th, leading by 7. Lower third of the Tiger order here in the top of the 7th. Castellanos, Avila, and Suarez. Castellanos 1 for 2. Got a high changeup, went out and got it, and hit it for a double in the left center field. 8, 10, and 0 for us. 1, 4, and 1 for them. Out of play. Two on 1 to count. Shanks that one. Good pitch. He just got beat on it. That inside out swing. So the leadoff single. That'll bring up Alex Avila, who's grounded to short and then was hit by a pitch.
Adrian going out there to have just a very short word with Johnny Danks.
There's some rumblings down there in our bullpen now. He's in good shape. Pitch count 82.
Corey Knebel loosening up in the pen. Another Tiger pitcher that we saw in the first game of the series.
Breaking ball strike.
Big Petrichka loosening up. Certainly helps that bullpen when you have that unexpected day off, which is what happened with the rain out last night.
Get over there. Gordon, yeah. Back him up. 2 down. Nice play.
Good coordination on a 3-6-4. Gordon was heading that way. It's much easier for him than it is for Johnny Danks to get over there. And Gordon acting like a first baseman.
Well, as we talked about, Gordon's healthy now. You know, when you're healthy, you can think better. And when Gordon is healthy, there's not many guys around who know how to play the game of baseball better than Gordon. He has tremendous baseball acumen.
Perfect position. It was 3-5-4 as Gillespie took the throw because of the overshift in the infield.
Hey, you don't see that very often.
Oh, no, not very often at all. 3-5-4.
You know what? I want to tell you something. My whole career, that might be the first time I've ever written down a 3-5-4. Ground ball double play.
You mean to tell me you never had a 3-5-4 exacta perfecta box?
I've never hit an exact in my life. You know, you get people have to build those pots. I'm a pot builder. I'm a field filler. Like the lottery.
Well, that's true. This is a big one coming up.
I know you bought your ticket.
I split a half a ticket.
Now that's more like Steve Stone. Tell you what we've seen of this little man right here is pretty impressive. Suarez.
Yeah, I think Detroit is very happy with him, and it could solve the revolving door shortstop situation they've had since Peralta left.
He draws the walk. That's the second walk he's drawn, and that's the second walk that Johnny Danks has issued in this game. He's just 22 years old. Eugenio Suarez.
And when you look at Suarez, he's standing right next to a man that he idolized. Suarez from Venezuela, and of course Omar Vizquel, one of the great, if not the greatest, or certainly up there in the conversation, Venezuelan shortstops ever. And growing up, Suarez just idolized that man.
And that ball's hit hard into left center field. So they're going to wave Suarez around. He's going to score on the 2-out double by Rajay Davis. So it's an 8-2 ball game.
Nineteenth run driven in by Davis. That was a changeup. Wasn't quite as low as John would have wanted it.
Well, let's just forget about having a 6-run lead. Let's just put those in the bank, forget about it, and go from nothing again. Which is easier said than done.
This Tiger team has a lot of thunder in that lineup.
You got to forget about it. You can't, you know, I hate that feeling. I hate that feeling of when you get a 5 or a 6-run lead. We talked about it the other day. You get that feeling, all of a sudden a little complacency comes in. And you've got to learn how to get that out. Kinsler. You got to learn how to maintain. High pop up right side. Abreu falls down and makes the catch. Yes, he did. A beautiful play by El Cañon. And that'll retire. Look at Danks. Look at Johnny. Seventh inning stretch. We lead it 8-2.
Bottom of the seventh inning, and Corey Knebel comes into the game. We saw him in the opener of the series. His ERA up there near 8. He's on for the 6th time. Opponent's batting average of .320. Yet he appeared to have pretty good stuff. So maybe it's just a question of him settling down, getting used to the role that he is thrust into. We saw him for an inning. He gave up a hit, struck out 1. Came out in relief of Rick Porcello, who went 5+ innings. Tonight, Justin Verlander went 5 2/3, gave up 7 runs on 8 hits with 4 walks and 6 strikeouts. He, of course, is the pitcher of record. And with the bullpen up and going, you would think that might be it for Johnny Danks, as he's wended his way through 7 innings, gave up 2 runs on 6 hits.
So for us, it'll be Viciedo, Diaz, and Nieto.
John's got to be pretty happy with the amount of offense. I know he's very happy with the play of Abreu getting out of that inning.
Tank 0 for 3. As he takes up high ball 1. We know the count. Tank was robbed of the base hit on a beautiful play by Kinsler. Diving hard to his right on a rocket off the bat of Viciedo. Was there as the strike. And once again, a reminder, if you're just tuning in, tomorrow night, make your plans to be with us here at the Park. Chris Sale against Max Scherzer. But if you can't make it, we'll have it for you right on Comcast Sportsnet, as that's ball 4.
There's a look at Max, who will go to the mound at 7-2. The ERA 3.38. Again for his 14th start of the year.
Here's Diaza. Had a big 2-out RBI single last inning. Takes that pitch down low. Home plate jumping around on him. Jeff Jones now going to make a trip out there. And what he does. We mentioned Ventura over Bauer in that 4-1 Kansas City victory over Cleveland. And Kendrys Morales as Minnesota beats Toronto 7-2. Morales 3 for 5 with 3 RBIs.
That was a huge addition to that team.
Well, what it's going to do is going to give them a big lift psychologically. And that's one of the big reasons that Terry went out and got him.
It's costing him $7.2 million prorated for the rest of the year. And that being said, they got themselves a switch hitter who's just a very good bat. Always has been.
Hitter. He's just a dangerous hitter. That's been one of the big accidents that's happened in baseball when he was with the Angels.
Celebration at the plate.
Celebration at the plate. Broke his ankle. I mean, that was just really unfortunate. That thing, besides hurting the Angels, that thing cost Kendrys millions of dollars.
That, along with the fact that Brian Dozier has hit 14 home runs, really has come of age as an everyday second baseman. That gives him a couple of potent bats, and if Willingham will stay uninjured for a bit, he also gives him a pretty potent bat.
Well, he hit his 5th home run in that game today.
All he's got to do is stay on the field. He's going to hit the ball out of the ballpark.
You can never count out Minnesota. We've said that over the years. You can never count out Minnesota. It's just that simple. They got a terrific tandem, and the manager and the general manager up there. That ball into center field. That's a can of corn. So 1 out, and then you can enjoy a U.S. Cellular Field just like a player. You can play catch in the outfield, warm up in the bullpens, visit the dugouts, and much more. So join us for Family Field Day on June 21st and support White Sox charities. So to purchase tickets, visit whitesoxcharities.org.
And now they want to talk with Avila.
Did he get hit again?
It could very well have been on the backswing.
I'm telling you, it's amazing. I asked him before the game when I was talking with Alan. I said, "You okay?" He says, "Yeah." I said, "You staying out of concussions way?" He said, "I'm trying."
He just continues to get hit. Yep.
Don't.
Got him in the mask, and
He's all right. That's not.
Who knows what he's talking about, because he was a major league catcher.
That's.
Because he's never seen it. Never seen a guy get hit as much with foul balls and with bats as Avila.
Adam. Let's check that. Nieto's had a big at bat. That was last inning when he fell behind in the count and then drew a walk to continue that inning on, and he came around to score. As did Eaton, who walked behind him. Beckham with a big 2-out, 2-run single. And Gillespie with a 2-run double. We scored 7 times last inning.
I'm not sure how Alex stopped that one, but that was one of his better efforts tonight. His hard slider in the dirt, and on the long hop, able to save it from going to the screen.
How about a couple of stops he made on Monday?
He's been pretty good in this series beyond the plate.
He's a good catcher. There's a strike. 2-2. Talking to Alex, he says, "How you doing?" I said, "I'm fine. I'm having fun watching these kids play." He said, "Yeah, you guys got a different looking ball club." I said, "We got some down on the farm too." I said, "We got one. Micah Johnson stole 84 bases last year. Next year, got a chance to be on this ball club, be a game changer." He said, "Yeah, bring him on." He said, "I'll throw him out." I said, "Well, you doing the easy part now." He started laughing.
Well, it doesn't matter how good an arm you have or how quick a release you have. Your pitcher better give you a chance, or it doesn't matter.
It doesn't.
No.
Doesn't make any difference.
They're much over 1.3 seconds to home plate.
As he gets him, 2 down.
If they are, you've got no chance as a catcher.
So here is Adam. Adam 1 for 3 with a walk, a triple, and a run scored. Walk and run scored last inning. Breaking ball strike. Big gap out there in right center. And the count 0-2. Just got a piece. Got a piece.
That just got a piece.
Alex.
Okay. Yep. And Las Diaz takes a couple of extra steps out there.
Oh.
As Alex gets hit again.
Ouch. He's amazing. Yet he, as I said on Monday, you keep knocking him down. He keeps getting like in a ring when you bang. You keep knocking the guy down. He keeps getting back up. That's up high. Hit that gap out there, Adam. Count evens at 2. Made a good pitch on him. All right, we'll go to the 8th. We lead at 8-2.
Johnny Danks went 7, gave up the 2 runs on 6 hits. And our Sox batted around in the 6th, driving Justin Verlander from the hill. Start something special with great leases and low financing on a new Honda. Visit shophonda.com or your local Honda dealer. And Javi Guerra comes into the ball game. ERA 4.25, on for the 6th time. Opponent's batting average of .282, which is very good. And he's got a 6-run lead to protect. And the heart of the order due up, the heart of a very potent order.
Well, Cabrera, this will be the 3rd inning he has led off. Which is his first at bat, he came to the plate with 2 out, nobody on. So we have been very fortunate in that respect. That's at 95, right on by him. He's 1 for 3, that double leading off the 4th, and he scored. 8-10-0 for us, 2-6-1 for them if you're just tuning in. With 1 game remaining tomorrow night, Chris Sale against Max Scherzer. And that one at 95 again. Souvenir right side. So very quickly the count 0-2. There's Maxwell or Maximilian.
Max a lot of million.
Or Max. Well, could be. For his sake, I hope it is. I hope it's a whole bunch of millions.
All he has to do is stay together.
Boy, that's a good pitch right there. 0-2. Up and in. 1 out.
You see where Nieto is setting up? He wants it up. He wants it well out of the zone. And he gets it there.
That's an at bat right there that you file if you're Javi Guerra for later on in the season. The reason you file it because he's going to face him in another situation later on this year, sometime.
And I'm not sure you want to go first ball fastball with a good part of the plate.
Well, no, you don't want to do that. Maybe on the outside corner a little bit or inside corner, but not down the middle. Victor is 1 for 3. Tell you what, we saw some other Tiger people. They said, boy, you guys are running some good arms out of that bullpen. We still got Lindstrom and Nate Jones. And we all know it's the battle of bullpens.
I talked with Matt. He's been working out, as has Nate. And Nate might be the first back of those two.
Well, that was just a freakish injury on that.
I talked to him, and I thought that the ankle kind of buckled out, and he said it didn't. He stepped wrong, and the ankle buckled in, putting all the pressure on the outside, and that's where the tear came, and that's what he had to have repaired.
That sheath, yeah.
Yep.
No walks, Ivy. They can hit his way on. They got the shift on. Oh, look at that. I'll tell you. And I can't remember who told us that. Can you?
That was a scouting report. I mean, that came out of.
Somebody told me that he was not that good at first. Whoever told me, I got to remember that because I'm going to ask him who the hell signed him.
Well, he's got some very good hands.
Not by you.
Made a terrific play there. And the only thing he's had trouble on, and he's corrected that, is the short hops at first base because he was setting up too soon. But once that was brought to his attention and he worked on it, now he's not doing it. And the rest of his game over there is pretty solid.
It's been let's put it this way, it's been better than average.
Yep. With that bat, you would take average. Better than average is a huge plus.
Torrey is 0 for 3 with an RBI, his 33rd of the season. He's had some big hits for Detroit. What new?
Tampa Bay won a ball game tonight, which stops a 4-game losing streak. Boy, it's been a very difficult year for Joe Madden and the boys. 25-42.
Well, they haven't pitched and they haven't hit.
Nope. Bad combination. 11-22 on the road, 13-20 at home. And now all the chants are trade David Price. And if they do go out to trade him, this being very much of a seller's market at this point and will continue to be even higher of a seller's market, they can get a bundle for him.
Once again, the 2-2 pitch. Two out and the payoff. So the 2-out walk. And that'll bring up Austin Jackson, who's 1 for 3. Solid single to right, fly out to center, and a strikeout. Johnny got him on a changeup.
In a category of maybe the best pitcher you don't hear a whole lot about, The Houston Ball Club is 30-37, and Dallas Keuchel is 8-3 with an ERA of 2.38. He won again tonight. And that young left-hander is one of their stars of the future, and he's pretty good right now.
.21 to count. And that's pretty good pitch, didn't get it. And that ball hit hard, knocked down. So the 2-out walk, now the single.
Not much of a chance here for Gordon as this ball up the middle. He interrupts it going into center field, but can't do much to corral it. And it's 2 on, 2 out.
And Castellanos. He's 2 for 3, a solid double and a soft single. Oh boy, they've been 0-1 to count to the 22-year-old third baseman. If you're just tuning in, we have 8 runs on 10 hits. They have 2 runs on 7 hits. Pours that one right over the outer part. 0-2. Hard to believe they had Dodgers. We only saw them 3 games. It's hard to believe they had 7 or 8 guys down that pen with better stuff than Avi Garrett.
He got hurt after a really impressive rookie year. They loved him. After getting hurt, they looked other places, came up with Kenley Jansen, who's got terrific stuff as a closer.
Well, he's got better stuff than Javi, but I'm talking 7 or 8 guys down there in the bullpen. I don't think so.
Nope.
That breaking ball softly into right field. And that'll retire the side. We go to the bottom of the 8th, leading by 6.
TV.com, sponsored by Jeff Vukovich, your local nationwide insurance agent serving the area for 36 years. To join the nation, visit jeffvuk.com. Nationwide is on your side. And Phil Koch comes into the game. Koch 0-1 with a 6-point ERA on for the 20th time. He's been a specialist, 21 innings of work.
It'll be Beckham, Gillespie, and Abreu. Beckham 1 for 3, but it was a biggie, a 2-out, 2-run single. More or less put a little stamp on that 7-run 6th inning.
Well, 3-1 at the time. That really stretched it out.
Fouls it back. And that's the fair. Oh, nice pick. Nice play by Castellanos.
This looked like it's ticketed for a double. But Nick is over there in time. Good first step quickness. And he throws it right on the button.
Not quite as big, but he reminds you a little bit of Troy Glaus down there at third. He's 6'4", Glaus was 6'5". Gillespie 1 for 4, 2-run double.
If Nick has near the offensive numbers that Troy Glaus has, he will be a terrific third baseman.
Well, he's got a chance.
This Glaus could really hit.
Troy has some good years, but this kid Castellanos has got a chance too. He's 22 years old.
Well, it was Garcia and Castellanos, the 2 crown jewels of the organization. We got Garcia, and now Castellanos is here, and next year Garcia will be back.
Most of my mail out of Seattle is mentioned actually more than anybody in the context of, boy, wait till next year when we got him in there with the cannon.
Well, you can only hope that the ball club can make the same amount of strides from this year to next that it made from last year to this.
Well, it's not going to do it. That's not going to happen. You're not going. This is going to be a good ball club for the next 5 or 6 years. But that's, of course, barring severe injuries. That's 2 out. Rick Hahn and the staff, I'll tell you, it's just been terrific. The pickups they made, and Kenny instrumental in getting Abreu, going down looking at him for a couple of weeks, scouting him. outbidding everybody else.
I was just saying, allocating amount of dollars to understand what he could mean in the middle of this lineup.
Yeah, I mean, it's just you just can't. Again, it's not the club losing 99 games last year. It's how they lost 99 games last year. And to turn that around like they've done, and we're not done this year. This club's going to get better and better this year. And our bullpen last 3 weeks has just been terrific. And we only got one left-hander. So I'll tell you, we got some pretty good right-handers down there.
No, it's been each and every guy out of that pen has done a great job. And it started quite a while ago
with Belisario.
That really helped turn the ball club around, because there's nothing hurts a ball club more than losing late, especially if you've had the lead, and that comes in because the bullpen is usually in there. That means they're giving it up, and if they're not giving it up, now you got something.
Especially with walks like there were.
Yeah, well, that was a big problem, and we'll take a look at what the bullpen has done. The last 7 games, ERA below 1. 19 innings of work. Saves 3 for 3 as Ronald has really seemingly come of age. He had 4 saves his entire career before he took over as the closer on this ball club.
2 out, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Canon is 2 for 3 with that homer. And they make it 3 for 4. He just muscles this one in to right field.
It usually doesn't matter how good the strike is. If you throw him a strike, he's going to hit it well. And this is a fastball at 96. It is a strike. It's on the inside portion of the plate. Keeps the hands in. Still manages to get a nice part of the bat on the ball. And gets his 3rd hit of the night. Moises Sierra comes on to pinch hit.
Adam had a big hit back in that 6th inning, and also an RBI single in that 6th inning. And there's a base hit by Moises. So Bray Hewitt, second. Sierra at first, and here's Alexei. Alexei's 2 for 4. Suarez made a good play on him to keep him being 3 for 4. Suarez over to Kinsler, and that'll retire the side. We'll go to the 9th, leading 8-2.
Setting provided by 97.5 FM ESPN Deportes, Chicago's first and only Spanish language sports radio station. Leary Garcia checks in the game at third base.
Alex Avila. 0 for 2. He was hit by a pitch. Javi Guerra. Alex takes first pitch strike. Let's get this first out right here. Got a break there and count 0-2. A little too high for him to bite. Take him right here. Don't want to go full. Good rip by Avila. Count hangs at 2-2. He gone. One out. And a reminder, the MLB.com at-bat app and a subscription to its premium features on his favorite smartphone, tablet, are perfect for Father's Day. And Dad will have access to features such as live look-ins, instant replay, live audio, free MLB.tv game of the day, and more. So for more details and to order, visit MLB.com. Here's Eugenio Suarez. Hi, Papa. Watch out now. Man.
Well, I don't know what to tell you. All's well that ends well. Ramirez has been camped under it and finally yells out, "I got it," or the Spanish equivalent of "I've got it." And he had it.
Rajai Davis. Two out and the 1-1 pitch. There's a chopper and beats it out.
You really got to come get it, even with the cannon that Alexei has. Rajai Davis has unbelievable speed. He's able to beat the play at first.
So here's Kinsler. He is 0 for 4 tonight. And he takes first pitch strike. Oh, and 2. Base hit. So you know who's coming to the plate.
You want another high fastball, and instead Javi got it down. And Kinsler with his first hit of the night.
Cabrera was the first guy Javi faced leading off last inning. Got him 0-2, hit him on the fist with a fastball up and in to pop up. All right. Gordon's got him, and this ball game is over. So the Sox take the first 2 of this rain abbreviated 4-game set. Remainder tomorrow, Chris Sale against Max Scherzer, but we win this one 8-2, and we'll be back.